Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Some people have to be killed after they hear this, but hopefully that won't be the case for you. This is going to be the secret to the sardine fry, which is known in many lands as a mythological dish that provides the utmost sustenance and nutrition. It can be quite easily described by two words which conveniently rhyme. It's delicious and it's nutritious. And it's great if you like sardines. If you don't like sardines, this is basically not for you. So yeah, here's the breakdown of what's going inside it. We're going to start off with some red onions, and I'm going to actually show you how I cut these. I'm quite diligent about how I cut onions for different dishes. This is cut in quite a simple way. 3 cloves of garlic, at least. If you don't like garlic, you just as bad as people who don't like sardines. Get your garlic in there. We're also then going to be throwing in some greens. You can just use some spinach, but I've got some nice kale here, all washed up, so that kale's all going to go in it there. Then also with it, sauerkraut. Now, if you haven't got any sauerkraut available, that's really tough. I would just go to a store and just get some sauerkraut. Really good for your belly. Gonna sprinkle some feta cheese on top towards the end. Of course, we have the host of the show, which is the sardines. Maybe get a better brand than this if you can. And we will be throwing in some eggs in there as well. With regards to calories and stuff and things like this, I don't really care. It's delicious, it's nutritious, it's a powerhouse, has a lot of calories in it, so you can eat it whenever you need those calories. I'm not going to dictate that for you. So yeah, watch and observe as I create this masterpiece for perhaps the 10,000th time. Yeah, so here's how we're going to do with these onions. Do make sure they're red onions. Why? Because red onions will caramelize a lot more in the pan. They're much sweeter, especially when we add that balsamic hit, which is going to come in a minute, okay? That's a classic, yeah. Balsamic vinegar with red onions. Everyone knows this. If you don't, you're just not in the know. It's okay, now you know. So, easiest way to chop the onions for general things, but particularly for this dish, just cut it in half, yeah? All the peel and stuff is on. Don't do this peeling of the onion when it's whole. Doesn't make sense, okay? You got the half. Cut the top bit off. Chop. That's that done. I take off the top layer. If it's generous to me, which this one very much is, you can just peel the top part away. There might be a little bit of finicky doing around this side, but just, yeah, scrape it away, get it in your eyes. It's nice training for pepper spray or something. Yeah, so I've peeled that bit there. And all I'm going to do with this onion, I then take the back bit off. Don't take off too much of it, just the back bit. Now that, for wastage, what is that? Minimal wastage. Now from here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in moons, and it's going to go like this. I cut a moon, ha. I cut a moon, ha. A moon, a moon, flip, moon, a moon. Just pull off the leaves at the bottom here. Fold the rest of the stalk around like this, so the leaves are on the other side. Take your knife, and just to where it kind of stops to be thick at the top, I'm just going to slice that bit out, like that. Boom. So that's all the leafy stuff to one side. Don't start throwing this stuff away. This has a purpose. So what I'm going to do, I will just chop the bottom bit that's a bit grimy and stuff there. You're just going to slice this very thinly. Just like this. It takes a minute to cook, and this normally is something very quick to cook. This takes me like 20 minutes to cook. This dish, 20 minutes, and I've got my pre-workout, post-workout, snack, lunch, dinner, breakfast, whatever it is, any time of the day, baby, any time of the day. Chop, 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 chop. Okay, so now I've got all these little things in there. I'm just going to throw it in with my garlic. and the onion and stuff. And I'm just going to cook it all with that because that's going to take a minute to cook. Now, if you're using spinach, of course, you don't have to do any of this stuff. And the spinach actually cooks much quicker than the kale, which is much more fibrous. So yeah, with your spinach, make sure you wash it, or else your pesticides are going to be all in your belly. Just grab it in a big bunch like this and just chop, 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 chop. Now this will reduce in size. You might be thinking, how does that even all fit in your belly? Like all that stuff. It does, it fits inside the belly, it's okay. We're gonna go in with just a normal olive oil. As you can see, most of the stuff I'm using is bio or organic. This is just when it's around and it's there in the house and I do buy it, but I'm not militant and shouting at you to buy organic stuff. Everything is a personal choice. If it sizzles, it's just right. If you put it in the pan and it's not sizzling, you premed it. Premature, went in too early. So we're in now. Good. Alright. Now, before you do anything else, before you breathe, before you do another rep, season it. Pepper. Generous pepper. Generously pepper. Generously pepper, sufficiently salt. Himalayan salt. Kombucha. No, it doesn't go in. It goes in my belly. Always remember to eat while you're cooking. My choice today is just like a coconut yogurt. I'm going to put a lid on it so it steams just a little bit to soften up not only the hard stalks of the kale, but also those onions, to soften them a little bit before we caramelize it. I got one of these, just pop that on top. Quite convenient. I can also see what's going on through there. Just going to leave that just for a few minutes. It's important to note you don't want loads of water going inside here. It's going to be something crispy. It can turn out soggy, which is still good, but it's not exactly what we're looking for. So again, I've thought a lot about this. When the water, you can see here, the water is starting to build up on the top. What I will do now and then, I will lift it, I will drain it, and then I'll put it back on, just to make sure the water's not going inside. Right? Small detail. So when you start smelling that slight burny, oniony smell, you know it's just at that point where you need to give it another stir, and it's just sticking a bit. I can turn the extractor fan on here, so sorry for the noise. But now, have a look, getting a bit brown and crispy. This is precisely the point that we make our first special move, which is the balsamic vinegar. Now this should sizzle. Oh yeah! Look what's happening, check it out. It's caramelizing. Already caramelizing. Now you just let it do its thing for a minute, half a minute, while you get the sauerkraut ready. I'm going to have a nice handful of sauerkraut. That's a nice handful of sauerkraut. Drizzle that in. I'm going to get a little bit more. Always more. And again, at every stage of the cooking process, season. That was taught to me by a friend, a good friend, who was a chef, and he's now a butcher, which is a job I personally would love to do. Kale. by the handful or two. Now the sardines, drain them first. And now here's the deal. Get it in the pan. All of it. Now, I have been known to use tinned oysters for this. You can do that. Sometimes I do both. If you need a bit more protein, if this is a problem for you, you can put 2 tins of sardines in. It's up to you. But one's enough for me. I'm chopping it up. Chop, chop, chop. Just so it's like smaller pieces like that. I want it to be nicely mixed. Now let's just toss this together a bit. It's like a hot salad. I'm going to make holes. 1 hole. I've actually just decided right now I'm going to have 4 eggs, not 3. I'm going to have 4. So 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now, if you have an imagination, you know exactly what's going to happen now. This egg is what's going to stick this baby together. So don't break the yolk, just break the white. And you can break the white. You break it, and then the white comes out and it acts like a glue. Now, I've got myself here around 2 fingers of feta cheese, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on top. I'm also going to use it to fill in those gaps that maybe didn't get any egg on them, because then that will help bind them together. This cheese will. Use your hands, it's why they're there. Nature wants you to do that. And of course, we can't forget to season. Now I'm going to lay off the salt, because there's salt in the feta cheese, quite salty, but pepper can always be more. To get this cooking, come back with my trusty lid. So kind of like a slightly like a medium heat now, a little bit higher, because we don't want it to be too slow. The heat is now going to caramelize. Some people will say burn. I say caramelized. It's going to caramelize the bottom layer, and it's going to give it a crispy edge. And any of those red onions that are touching there, even the kale, even the sauerkraut, with that little bit of balsamic vinegar it's got in it, that's going to make it super sweet. And that's really going to be the icing on the cake. And the difference between someone who knows their sardine fry and someone who is yet to know. Now you know. We'll give this the few minutes that it needs. Again, you can see the water building up here. I don't want it to be soggy. Pick it up. And I put it back on. And people might say, oh, this is these small little nuances, these things. Yeah, this is the care and attention that makes a practice rather than just doing something. I've been making this for years, and there's a reason why it is one of the best sardine dishes that you'll ever try in your life. I claim that myself. Is because of these small attention to detail. So give it what it needs, invest in your practice, and it will repay you and your stomach many, many times in return. The moment of truth. Check it out. There it is. The eggs still slightly soft. Oh, that one's a bit overcooked, but never mind. Now, with a deft sleight of hand, bring it out. Bring it out. There you go. There you go. There she is. Perfect. Now these crispy bits, that's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. Scrape it all out. Just take some dressing, some sticky balsamic dressing. Unfortunately, this is almost gone. But yeah, just take that, and all it's going to do is just going to be like this. If you just watch, you hear? One line this way, and one line the other way. Look. Take what you can, give nothing back. And that, my friends, That is the sardine fry. Just as an addition, this will be my first meal today, if you were wondering. And it's 3 o'clock, which means that I've had intermittent fast, quite simply because I ate very late last night, which happens very often. I go to bed with a full stomach. So this is absolutely fine for me to start the day with. I'll be heading out and practicing afterwards. First of all, I lined my stomach with a banana, some peanut butter, and also the coconut yogurt that you saw there, and some kombucha to get the good bacteria in there. And this will sit nicely on top of that and fuel me for pretty much the rest of the day, and I'll probably just eat once in the evening after practice. That's it.